Right. Back to Alphanode. Is it Alphanode that's going to be... No, Alphanode is not who these people are talking to. I'm intrigued as to what's going on here. They're all in cutscenes. So it sounds like there's a big cutscene that's going to happen there. Ba, 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 ba. I really like the music in this expansion. You probably got that. Oh, the gang's all here. An adventurer calling themselves a warrior of light. Why would anyone tie themselves to the legacy of individuals held in such low regard in the first? Warriors of light, harbingers of the flood and all the world's woes. That this wanderer would so boldly claim their title is most curious indeed. It is strange to think how heroes, so beloved by the people, could be brought back so low in so short a time. Alphino tells me a warrior of light has slain the Sin Eater. Quite frankly, I'm not sure what to make of this. Yes, I was hoping to speak with you about... second thought, never mind. It would be rude of me to pry. He wants to know what leader is thinking. Love. I suppose... Just randomly flown past my head. Because the Crystal Exarch never thought he had a future because his plan all along was to sacrifice himself. The idea that he can actually even have a future, the fact that he is still existing, despite the future having been changed, is what's brought about this idea of joy. As soon as he, gets us back to the source and fixes that mistake, he could potentially have a future, and maybe that's why he's always been so. Yeah. The others were quite shocked to hear of what we found in Lakeland, but now that you're here, there is a proposal I should like to make. Okay. I've been spending a great deal of time in the Cabinet of Curiosity. Did my camera just flicker? I think I caught it just out the corner of my eye. Sorry about that, if it did. I've been spending a great deal of time in the Cabinet of Curiosity, and of late I've noted more and more people perusing books on history, the years leading up to the Flood in particular. I suspect they wish to know more about the Warriors of Light, as well they should, but nearly everything I've come across describes them as Sin Eaters, or worse. I wonder if that's to do with... What's-her-face at the end of the Roll Quest stuff. Probably not. Regardless of whether or not this Warrior of Light is who they claim to be, I worry that their sudden appearance in conjunction with this renewed interest in their predecessors may lead to growing unrest and fear. If the people of the Crystarium seek the truth, I say we give it to them. Okay. I too can attest to the falsehoods found within full many of the Cabinet's tomes, with nary a mention of the noble deeds of Ardbert and his comrades. To be fair, they bear some responsibility to the Flood, but when the tale is told again and again over the course of a century, I'm not surprised to see their roles distorted and them painted as villains. Were it not for the records stored within the Crystal Tower, I would have had no reason to question the narrative. Unfortunately, that knowledge was of no use, for when I arrived here in the first, the reputation had already been irreparably tarnished. That said, there still remain those who worked tirelessly to defend their good name in those early days following the Flood. Considering all the good they have done, I find it a wonder they needed defending at all. They brought to justice the man who misused my knowledge to bring about the fall of Ardbert. That such heroes could be spoken of in the same breath as Sin Eaters is absurd. Under normal circumstances, I would agree. But as time passed, those who knew firsthand of their deeds dwindled. In the end, only one truth remains, that they were the cause of the Flood. Which is correct. With the world on the brink of oblivion, it was all too easy for the Warriors of Light to become villains, deserving only of resentment and hate. At that point, the truth mattered little. It would not change their lots. Thanks to all of you, however, their lot has changed. And now they may heed the long-forgotten truth. You claimed it was Ardbert who helped you overcome MSQ, correct? Such a revelation would do well to sway the hearts of those who know him only as a villain. I have shared this with a select few, but one and all must be told of his sacrifice. Ah, but he's going to show up, isn't he, in this new body that looks like him. To that end, I say we proceed with Alphino's plan. We call together the people of the Crystarium and recount to them the true tale of the Warriors of Light and the flood that followed in their wake. Well, what say you, Demajen? I say there's a potential. I say this was a really good plan if I hadn't seen the trailer. Actually, no. No, this is probably not a great plan. Oh. I wish we had done this sooner. Spread the word, I say. I love this piece of music. Then we're all of one mind on the matter. Good. Exarch, might I ask you to continue working with Beklug on our means of returning home? The rest of us will see to gathering the people of the Crystarium in the Exedra. We have to reach out to anyone and everyone who might be willing to lend an ear. With any luck, word will spread and more will accompany them. I wonder if this will change slightly depending on whether you've done all of the role quests and the final one after it. Because obviously she, and I can't remember her name, has already been helping out. There can be no darkness without light, and so it was that Ardbert was there in your hour of need. The people must be told. I have seen many a great and terrible thing in my life, as has the Exarch, no doubt. Of man, I can say this: his memory is short, his heart fickle. Let us pray that your words reach him. Ah, I miss MSQ just standing over here with a snide comment. Or some harsh truth for us. Da, 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 da. Ah, is this what's happening? No. No, it's not. Facing the truth. So are we oh yes, we're going round to grab people. Chesamil. Demajen, my, what a wonderful surprise. Oh, I hope your being here doesn't mean someone's being hurt. Thanks to you, I've had far fewer patients coming through my door of late. Which is a shame, come to think of it. I've had few opportunities to test my new medicines. Oh. I jest, of course. It's actually been quite pleasant to have a few moments to myself now and again. The truth about the Warriors of Light? And the Exarch has already spoken with me about it. Well, if there's more to the tale, I'd very much like to hear it. How are we getting through to this one? Is the passage through here, or is it the steps? Steps. My ability to navigate the Crystarium is still as god-awful as always. Also, there's a load of side quests that I still haven't done. And up. And up. And up. No. It's possible. But we've gone too far up. Katniss! Well, what a coincidence. I was just reading over a letter I received from Grenalt not long ago. It says a visitor from the Crystarium found him at the bottom of the ocean, and that she inspired him to reach new artistic heights. Well, I can only think of one person capable of both feats, though I say the latter is far more impressive. I think fate could bring the two of you together in such a place. Grenalt's the artifact relic guy. I'm sorry, you mean the Exarch didn't tell us the whole story of the Warriors of Light? Well, whatever he's left unsaid, I'm all ears. Right. Let's utilise the Ethernet for this bit. That's creepy. Creepy dolls. I didn't... Which one was it? Whispering Gallery? It's there! Dumbass. I assume this is going to be talking to the scholar guy who helped us out right at the start of the expansion. Yeah. No. This can't be. Surely there's at least one book here that does not cast the Warriors of Light and their deeds in such a negative light. Oh, Demajen, forgive me. The Cabinet of Curiosity has been bustling with visitors of late, but I fear our repository lacks the knowledge they seek. Lacks for the knowledge they seek. The people wish to know the truth of the flood, of the Warriors of Light. I've searched high and low, but alas, every account portrays them as no better than the Sin Eaters, abominations worthy only of scorn and resentment. I know they were not always judged so harshly, yet I can find no proof, and I dare call myself a librarian. You would address the people and tell them the truth of the Warriors of the Light, of the Flood? How wonderful! You've regaled me with the tale once before, but I should love to hear it again. Oh, and you may be assured I will not come alone. Okay, 2 more. Where's that Ethernet gone? To the pendants, I guess. Glinard. Ciela, that's it. Imagine, I wonder if she's got anything to say. Yeah. Okay. Well, to what do I owe the pleasure? Whatever it is, I must ask you to be brief. With the night return, visitors have been flocking to the Crystarium, and I find myself too busy by half. I don't mind it, though. Seeing the stairs so full of life and excitement, one can almost forget the flood ever happened. The truth about the Warriors of Light? But you already told me all there is to know, didn't you? Well, if there's more to their story, I'd love to hear it. Maybe then I could compete with Ciela and regaling patrons with stories of their heroism. I think that is possibly new, depending on whether you've done the quests or not. Perhaps I'll even inspire a few aspiring adventurers. Now, I think I need to go... This is going to be on the... Oh no, it's here. Braggy! Come to Brasvares in the market, have you? Well, I can guarantee you'll have no trouble finding what you need, whatever it may be. Under Yulmo's new leadership, trade has never been more prosperous. Word is that fellow from Daedalus Stoneworks has taken over as mayor. Did he really? Yes. Little Wonder business is booming the way it is. I imagine it won't be long before all of Northrend reaps the benefits. But you've not come to talk about the market. Something on your mind? I see. The Exarch did mention that had something to do with your returning the night to Northrend. All right. Consider my interest piqued. Hey! Minstrelling Wanderer? This is going to be the cutscene that everybody's been watching. We shall watch this and round out the episode, I think. I'm assuming this is where Ardbert's going to show up. Stola? Those I spoke with at the orchard and the rookery were quite keen to hear what we have to say. As much hope as they have for the future, the scars of the past weigh heavily on them still. It is good to see the people of the Crystarium so eager to learn the truth. And with this newfound knowledge of the past, they will at last be able to look to the future with eyes unclouded. I can't remember how I used to do Uriange's voice. It's in my head. I just can't remember how to make it. There you are. Between the four of us, I dare say we've swept the Crystarium from top to bottom. Now we need but wait for the people to gather. Delicious cutscene time! That's a lot of people. These are all the NPCs, aren't they?
Let us begin, shall we?
Yes.
Though I am usually the first to hold forth at such events, I think on this occasion that honour should fall to
What,
you.
the person that doesn't speak?
They would be more inclined to take the word of the Warrior of Darkness.
And they all know who are.
In light of the subject matter, who better than thee to speak?
This is
these
where
truths?
Ardbert's going to show up. That face, then. Hi, people. Once upon a time, so that's the fledgling Warriors of Light. That's them when they've got their level 50 stuff and they're starting to help out after their trials and tribulations. That's Ardbert wanting to halt the flood. That's him helping us, stopping Emmett Selk.
Wicked White. The Warriors of Light did all that?
They did. Are we just building up for this warrior, this faux Warrior of Light? Or maybe not a foe, maybe he's a real Warrior of Light from another shard.
So they never... I mean, they only ever wanted to help. And when everything they'd done turned to ash, they still carried on.
Yep.
They gave everything to stop the flood. First their lives, then their souls.
Yep.
And they managed it too, in the end. They saved us. And we cursed their names.
Yep. Well told, Demajen.
This should go a long way towards clearing the air.
But... ta-da! Alphina's face drops.
Impossible.
Impossible. You can see him too. I take it I'm not imagining this then.
I definitely see something. You don't think it's a ghost, do you?
Alphino. He's such a scaredy cat when it comes to ghosts.
Nay, yonder standeth no bloodless apparition, but a warrior of light and darkness both. Ardbert.
Are you sure?
What in the world?
Ah, Ishtola, give us insight with your eyes.
It's you! The one who slew the Eater!
That it should be the Warrior of Darkness who brought the truth
Oh.
to light. You've saved me a fair bit of time. Though I have a few words of my own to say, if I may.
Right, that is Ardbert's voice actor. So is this Ardbert's body being inhabited by an Ascian? Because he's lost his beard.
People of the Crystarium, I am Ardbert, one of those you know as a warrior of light.
That's impossible. You should be dead.
Yeah.
Aye, that I should. But as the world has been given new life, so too have I.
Instantly suspicious of this.
I know not why I, and I alone have been gifted this chance. But I do know this. Only by the will of the star itself could such a miracle come to pass.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we are not convinced.
The hero who stands before you now, the warrior of darkness, is not of this world. And the day will come when she must return to her home.
True. Oh, of course, we haven't told them
But
that, have we?
this land is our home. And if it is to remain so, now and forevermore, it is we who must protect it. The time to rely on saviors from afar has passed. It is you who must rise. You who must become the new warriors of light.
What? Us? Warriors of Light?
So,
None of us were born heroes, my friend. I was only ever a man with a thirst for adventure.
See, this could be legit.
But wherever my journeys took me, I was invariably confronted with the same choice. To lend what aid I could to those in need.
Because this could well be an Ascian trick to once again get the
And I
lights
always chose the former.
flowing.
Any one of you could do the same. All you need is the will to help your fellow man. And the resolve to see it through.
Oh, yeah, this is nice, because it could well be... You know, it could be a massive ruse from the Ascians trying to get the Flood of Light moving again, or to return it, you know, the same way that what happened with the Warriors of Light on the first time. Great English. But it could also be legitimate. Ardbert's been given new life. And he knows that we are going to have to... But we don't seem convinced. And I don't either, probably. Stola, what do you see?
From thine own lips did we learn of Ardbert's fate, and by thy countenance I gather thou art not inclined to recant.
Yeah,
thy
because
history.
he's merged with us.
Yet whosoever this man may be, his words hold truth and resonate with the citizenry besides. For us to voice our doubts here and now would serve but to sow disquiet.
Yeah, he gave us
So better we
his
retire
power,
to the
didn't he, in
ocular
the
and
final
there
battle?
discuss this matter in private.
Go. I will stay here and watch.
Ah. Ah. L'intrigue. Like it. Oh, straight into another cutscene.
So, that is a warrior of light of the first.
Potentially.
I've not had the pleasure of making his acquaintance, but as you all seem to be in agreement, I gather this is no simple case of mistaken identity.
Probably not.
As far as I was able to discern, that was indeed Ardbert. It has been a long time, but not that long. Could he truly have been resurrected as he claims?
I mean, theoretically, yeah, but he thinks it's the will of the star. Could have been resurrected by the Ascians, the will of Zodiac. It looks like him and sounds like him, but it isn't him.
Ardbert did entrust his very soul unto thee. I see no reason to question
Yeah,
thy judgment.
I think it's an Ascian in Ardbert's body.
Nor I. To my eyes, your ether burns as brightly as the day you slew Emmett Selk. That is proof that he is with you still.
So can you... What do you see
Yet
for him
that
then?
which standeth now before the people is far more than a passing imitation. I am reminded of the cardinal virtues, though a sin-eater he is not.
Yeah.
which leaveth but one plausible explanation.
He's an Ascian in disguise.
That he is an Ascian.
Ah, cue the Ascian music.
Given their fondness for posthumous possession, I would have to agree. From what I understand, the Warriors of Light were laid to rest in Yulmore by those whom they had aided in life. At the time, some few still remembered them as heroes. Needless to say, 4 of them were subsequently exhumed to serve as the
Oh, so
virtues.
Ardbert was buried.
And if one knew where to look, Ardbert too would not have been difficult to find.
Assuming then that this is indeed the work of an Ascian, my mind inevitably
Elizabeth
turns to
Barris.
the last remaining paragon to survive the Sundering.
Oh, we know he's involved.
Elidibus.
We know Elidibus is involved because he's been in half a dozen cutscenes, just teeny tiny snippets of him. Frown.
That Xenos hath reclaimed his own flesh is known.
Yep. Nod.
Thus evicted from his borrowed form, and cognizant no doubt of Emet-Selk's failure here in the first, 'tis quite possible the emissary chose Ardbert for his next vessel.
And it is a younger Ardbert, but it's lacking the scruff.
Inhabiting the flesh of the fallen. Why, that is
Unsavory.
unsavory. And they do this often, you say?
Yeah.
Verily, for they possess no corporeal forms of their own. In what one may term their natural state, none save those gifted with the echo can perceive them.
Yep.
Indeed, when Elidibus intruded upon the waking sands, his presence did go
Yes,
unmarked by
Tattoo.
all save an
Completely
inferior
oblivious to the fact that
warrior
he was
of
standing
light.
there. Infilia!
On that occasion, I myself remained ignorant of his coming until after his departure.
That is true, you did.
It was only at a later juncture, when he deigned to appear before me in borrowed flesh, that I was finally able to take the measure of him. In such puppetry do the Ascians engage when they seek to influence the course of history.
Yes, they can't talk to people without bodies to talk through.
And they have gained much by it. Emet-Selk single-handedly built the Garlean Empire in this manner,
Yep.
while the Hebrea came close to conquering Eorzea, having taken possession of Thancred's living body.
This is interesting storytelling. Part of me says this is very exposition heavy. And it is. But it has to be due to the nature of the storytelling in this game being spread out over multiple years of small bite-sized chunks. So, whilst, Emet-Selk's responsibility for the Garlean Empire is going to be reasonably fresh in your brain because it's only been 6 months or so since we really had Emmet. What La Hebrea was doing as being in Thancred, that's all 2.0 stuff. That's the stuff that leads up to Heavensward. So these little bits of reminder are, yes, exposition heavy, but also necessary for your understanding. And it's only really if you A, know the story quite well, or B, have done it recently, that you might be thinking, this is a bit of iffy storytelling.
Yet it must needs be noted that the Ascians cannot avail themselves of all mortal vessels. For were they able to do so, none would serve as a better pawn than our own redoubtable champion.
Indeed.
Mayhap the blessing of light shieldeth Hydaelyn's chosen from Ascian influence. Or mayhap other forces are at work. We cannot say for certain.
Yeah, because we've had this the debate, of course, about Hydaelyn and Zodiac being primals, the nature of tempering, leading up to 5.0. That whole big debate about how people were surprised by the fact that Zodiac and Hydaelyn are primals, and some people weren't surprised, and there was a lot of kind of back and forth on Tinternet about that. But yeah, Hydaelyn shielding us from Ascians because they are the servants of her opponents. Likewise, it could be argued that we are the Ascians. We are Hydaelyn's version of the Ascians. Because we can, you know, use the Echo to foresee the future and to find out where attacks are coming and so on and so forth.
Whatever the reason, I hope it holds true. I dare not contemplate what might come to pass otherwise.
Is it not peculiar, then, that Ardbert's mortal remains should be susceptible, given that he was once a warrior of light? Or did the final departure of his soul make it possible, perhaps? Regardless, to hear an Ascian use him to call forth new warriors of light boggles the mind.
But the world is still...
Elidibus hath ever been an enigma, his ostensible purpose being to preserve the balance between light and dark.
Yeah.
When he made overtures towards me, however, I was afforded a glimpse behind the mask of the self-appointed emissary.
Self-appointed emissary? Did we know that? Did we know that it wasn't an official thing? I vaguely recall there might have been a cutscene where people mocked him for that. But yeah, of course, Elidibus was involved with the Warriors of Light/Darkness in 3.4, 3.5, whenever it was, where we had double-crossing Urianger. Oh.
I shall not defend mine actions.
There we go.
Undertaken in pursuit of a better understanding of our foe as either wise or prudent.
Yeah, see, that's proper Ardbert with his little tufty beard.
Nevertheless, what little I did glean may now prove useful. Elidibus possesseth a subtle mind, practiced in the art of manipulation. That he coaxed this star's most valiant heroes as far as the source with
yeah, he persuaded them to come to the source.
Is no trifling feat.
Give up everything.
And now I believe he doth employ his skills once more to some as yet unknown end. Though naught is certain, should my suspicions prove true, we shall have need of all our wits if we are to uncover and thereafter thwart.
I'm all about the thwarting.
Agreed. 'Tis plain that simply speaking out against him will not avail us. At best, it would only serve to confuse.
We need to find a way of proving what is going on.
And I would hesitate to do anything which might tarnish Ardbert's reputation once more. Nor yours
yeah.
by association. That being the case, it may be wise to keep a covert eye on this Ardbert's movements, as we attempt to discern his purpose and how best to mitigate his influence.
Speaking of...
His performance appears to have concluded. What now? Go back out and follow him?
We need a master spy.
It would appear Master Alphino already hath pursuit in mind, and I suspect one pair of eyes shall better serve our cause than half a dozen.
Alphino not noted for his stealth abilities.
Distance, for the present at least.
I mean, what if Ardbert swims somewhere? Alphino's got no chance. Huh. Ba 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 ba. I say. Very, very interesting. What have we got to say for ourselves? We must not act until Ardbert hath made plain his plans. 'Twould be folly to proclaim him false at this juncture. We were a hair's breadth from defeat when we faced Emet-Selch, and now we must contend with yet another Ascian. We must tread carefully. What a despicable practice, appropriating corpses. Such depravity eclipses any horrors I witnessed in the age of Verberts. They must be stopped. They must indeed. And speaking of stopping, that's going to be the end of this first episode or first two episodes, depending on how I split this up. Really, really, really interesting turn of events there. I wasn't expecting the Ardbert... we knew Ardbert was going to show up because we saw him in the trailer. I wasn't expecting it to play out quite as it did. I was kind of expecting it to be drawn out a little bit longer, to have him show up kind of 2 or 3 times before we got our first full look at him. Not at like this big meeting. But actually, that is the best way. That's the best time to reintroduce him, because we're trying to get the truth out there, and then suddenly we're confronted with what seems to be a living embodiment of that truth. It's the best time for, realistically, an Ascian to get a foot through the door, so to speak, in the consciousness of the people. That must mean that Elidibus knows us quite well and knows our way of working quite well. He must know that we were going to do something like that. But of course, Elidibus is smart. He is quick-witted. And he is manipulative. Very manipulative. So we shall see exactly how he manipulates us next time. We've still got a dungeon and stuff coming up, but I need to go and get something to eat. So until next time, folks, thank you for joining me in this narrative experience. Hope you have enjoyed. Hope the voice acting wasn't too terrible, but it probably was. If you have any theories for yourselves, wait a couple of days after patch hits, and then knock them in the video description. You're not in charge of the description. That's me. Knock them down in the video comments below. Thoughts, theories. Where was I wrong? Where was I right? Probably more where I was wrong. But at least this time I went to check what had happened before, because I didn't do that at the 5.1 stuff. Until next time, folks. Ta for watching. Ta-ta. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.